Today I'm going to show you how I finished the yard office scratch build, adding the roof and a few details around the building. If you haven't seen episodes 1 or 2, you can click the card in the upper right corner of the screen and start from the beginning of the scratch build. Or if you want to finish this video, click the cards on the end screen and that will take you to episode 1 and 2 to watch the full yard office build. The HO scale switching modules have slowly turned into an actual local railroad called the Otter Tail Valley Railroad. To add some identity to the yard office, I printed the sign on some plain paper. To make it look like it was a bit more painted on, I turned the logo over and sanded the paper quite thin. You should use very fine grit as it is very easy to tear the paper. I then spread some diluted white glue on the model, added the logo, and then put some more glue over top to saturate it into the model. I used regular white glue and water mixed 50-50 with a couple drops of dishwashing soap. You can see that you have time to work it in, but you can also overwork it like I did here. If I continue to refine the building, I will likely weather over the logo quite a bit to make it look like it is either fading or damaged. I have enough trouble with water slide decals, so I thought this might be a good project to try dry transfer decals. I chose a set of Woodland Scenics decals to put some signs on the building. It turns out the decals are easy to handle, but working with scribed or rib siding is difficult. After a number of attempts with the authorized personnel only sign, I decided to use a piece of scrap wood. The smaller signs were a bit easier to maneuver over and under the raised siding. I had a bunch of scrap wood for miniatures and I found this very thin piece of veneer. To support the roof, I cut some thin strips of wood to set the roof on top just below the top of the walls. As you can see, the walls were warping a bit, so I added additional cross beams to help minimize that warp. I should have done this when I was gluing the sides to the base. I then stained the veneer to keep the wood color but make it darker. I wasn't happy with this, so if I were to work on cleaning up the model or improve it, I will likely use some paper or sandpaper and color the strips to add onto the roof. Next came the roof detail. Basing the detail on my original plan, I needed a stove vent for the kitchen and then a vent over the offices and over the leisure area bathroom and lockers. I also cut some styrene to raise the vents a bit. First I stained the wood hoping it was dark enough not to look like wood, so I went out and bought some Rust-Oleum aluminum paint and primer. I think I could improve the flat vents by giving them ribs and using stain over the aluminum paint. Also, I think the styrene would have been a better choice for these details. Finally, to fix the details to the roof, I used Aleene's tacky glue. I am so happy I JJI'd. That is, I just jumped into this project. While there were problems at every step, I learned so much. I learned to measure 3 times, not twice. I learned to not overwork decals. I learned that wood does not look like metal. I learned not only to draw the model, but also draw your steps so that you don't miss a step or do something too late. And most of all, I learned that I can do it by just jumping in. To catch the first or second episode, click the cards here. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more model railroading videos. Clicking the notification bell will also let you know when a new video is uploaded. Remember, JJI, just jump in. Thanks for watching.